because you meet with them, you get to know them, you understand their concerns, what they're coming from, what it is they want for their city, and then you continue to build upon that and work towards something. Transparency is enormously important, but just being real and understanding that everybody has different motivations, but their intention is to do what's right for the city of Regina. And to build consensus is no different than any other. If you've ever served on a board, if you ever led a team, you know that to build consensus, you get to know the people around you. You understand what motivates them. You understand what their goals are and what you hope to achieve. You set goals and strategies as a team, and then you respect each other. And leadership skills are transferable, and you respect each other. And that does not mean you're going to agree on everything. People come at things from different ideologies, and that's okay. That actually, it probably derives better solutions and better answers if you can pull in the best from across the spectrum. That's how you build relationships and consensus with counselors. And actually, counselors need to know that what they're representing wards in our city, and those citizens have concerns. Their job is to bring those concerns forward to the rest of council and to the mayor. And they need to be listened to and respected. And communication and resolution, if you can get there. At least if you can't get to a resolution that satisfies the ward, you can get to a communication about this is what's happening and this is why it's happening. And again, I'm back to that transparency and explanation. I think it gets you pretty much a very far away in life. What are 3 things that I like about the city of Regina? I love the people, I love the food, and I actually love, there's just nothing that can keep Regina down, to be honest. We all need to get back to loving the city of Regina, because frankly, we're awesome. When you line it up, we are not a natural tourism destination, and yet people come here and have the best time of their lives. We hear it all the time when they come for events. And you walk around our neighborhoods, our park, and you go to places like the Cultivator and the University of Regina and First Nations University, Polytechnic. We have amazing research going on. We have amazing tech companies here. We have hardworking people that are manufacturing jobs. My hat's off to the citizens of Regina. Actually, it's cold here in the winter and we all like to complain, but I think we're actually very proud of the fact that we survive it and thrive in it. Yeah, I just think that we're pretty fantastic. What are your ideas around developing a proud cultural civic identity for Regina and beautification of the city? The beautification of the city actually is something that it actually bothers me. There's areas of our city, and in some respects, all areas, they're looking a little shabby, and that upsets me. And when I go back into talking about the goals of the city of Regina, if our vision is to be beautiful, then you're going to have to actually pay attention to that stuff. Everything from weeds to crumbling sidewalks and garbage. It's very bothersome, and I think when you bring that to awareness, and again, when you set that as perhaps a goal of administration, I just think the city employees rise to that, and even the citizens rise to delivering on keeping our city beautiful. A proud cultural civic identity. I actually think we already have one. I go back to when people come here for an event, and it doesn't matter if it's University Congress. It doesn't matter if it's powwow, or if it's an NHL Classic game, a Pats game, QCX. We have a really vibrant event-based kind of tourism industry, and it's sports, and it's cultural, and it's natural in lots of ways. That we are a host city. You know, we talk about wanting to be a host city. We already are. We need to get better coordinated. We need to get better connected. And your mayor should be the biggest champion you've got. And your mayor should talk about the exhibit that's going on at the Mackenzie right now. And when that Globe Theater opens, your mayor should be talking about that. I have this vision that when someone comes here for business or an event or to visit family, that they hear from everybody, whether it's perhaps a taxi cab driver or a realtor they're meeting to look at a house, or the hotelier, the concierge at the hotel that they're staying at, that here's all the great places you can eat. Here's all the things that are happening. If you're into art, go here. If you're into sports, go here. We have so much going for us. We have so many fantastic assets in our city that we need to leverage to show everyone that if you're going to hold an event, or you're going to want a tournament, or you're going to want to bring your family into town to experience some things, that we already are the place to be. We just need to be better at promoting that, and then we need to get out of everybody's way and connect people in order to make that happen. Hi, Sandra. What are your thoughts on the safe drug consumption site recently opened in Saskatoon? Has something similar been proposed for Regina, to your knowledge? I think that people and organizations have talked about a safe consumption site in the city of Regina. What I know about the city of Saskatoon is that it's privately funded, and that there have been some challenges. I said earlier that, kind of one of the benefits of being 5 years behind everybody else is that you can look across Canada at best practices. I don't think you can talk about a safe consumption site in the city of Regina without actually, involving health and police clearly. If the data is there, I'm a big believer, if the data and science is there that it actually alleviates a problem or addresses a problem, then I think it's worth investigating, but not in the absence of the police service, because frankly, they're the ones that end up having to deal with it, or the community area where it ends up being, because that's going to be an issue as well. So I would never say no to it. If it makes sense, absolutely look at it. But again, it's probably going to be, because of funding, it would probably end up being provincially funded. And I don't necessarily know that that's the case. I think the model in Saskatoon is probably the right one when it comes to being privately funded, but not in the absence of the police service and social service and health. And we're going back to developing that relationship with the province and dealing with interjurisdictional organizations or committee advisory, something like that. The 36% tax increase for the current mayor, is that increase higher or outpacing similar sized cities? I think it is outpacing. It is outpacing similar sized cities. And I think the key issue about the 36% is, I don't know anybody I've talked to, or lots of people that I've talked to, don't have an issue with paying property taxes and understand that the city has services that they have to provide. I think the issue is feeling like you're not getting value for those dollars, or that your service is being cut. I think that's a little bit of the issue. I think people get frustrated when they see empty buses, and that makes sense. And I think that's a continued work in progress at the City of Regina in terms of making transit effective, and both cost-wise and delivery-wise. I think everything from garbage service to potholes to the road construction to infrastructure, I think those are the things that bother people. It's the irritations of the day-to-day that get under people's skin when their property taxes are going up. Okay, cats or dogs? Most important question tonight. That's how this is worded. I have 2 dogs in my home. I was raised with cats, and pretty much my kids' entire lives, we've had dogs. I have 2 dogs in my house. One is my son's and one is mine. My dog's name is Lou, and she's a bull mastiff, and she's a big meathead. My son's dog's name is Cece, and she is a Rottweiler Collie cross, Retriever cross. Anyways, she looks like a Rottweiler, and she's a bit of a princess and rules the house. So I'm going with dogs tonight. Although, as I said, I grew up with cats my whole life. In fact, I had 3 of them at one point in time. What is your future plan for expanding the north end of the city, like bringing more restaurants and other businesses to the north of Dubé, NOD? I can honestly tell you that in the next year or two, I have no plans for that. I think that we have amazing businesses in our city, and if there's commercially zoned land available, they'll open up. Yeah, like I think we have some of the greatest restaurateurs in the province, if not the country, and we have restaurants in our city that regularly make some of the best places to eat in Canada. So if there's opportunity there, I'm going to trust that they're going to go after it. I have time for one more question, although I was asked last week, and I probably should answer it live. Is a hot dog a sandwich? And the answer is no. A hot dog is a hot dog. It's unique. Sandwiches are sandwiches. Um, what is your stance on continuing COVID restrictions? Uh, um, Sorry. What is your stance on continuing COVID restrictions? Again, I'm going to go back. We have an amazing chief medical officer in Dr. Shahib. Our province is leading on this. And as a city, I think we follow the medical people. And I think that's the medical advice that we're getting is sound and reasonable. And I think that the citizens of Regina, as I said earlier, can continue to be kind and respectful of one another and keep doing what you're doing. If, for whatever reason, the city finds a shortfall in the budget, what are your plans to balance? If we're talking about 2020, coming out of this, I think what's going to happen is, so there was money set aside, pulled out of road renewals this year, set aside that wasn't spent. There's money there. There's going to be money coming from the province. If we're talking about 2021, I think the collaborative approach and working with the province in terms of setting the budget for what's available and what we're going to be able to do, that's going to be pretty crucial in terms of meeting the budget. What I'm curious about right now, and I don't mean to give a non-answer to this question, like I think the actual answer is you have to balance the budget. Municipalities are required to balance the budget. And that's where your relationship with the province and the federal government becomes so important. What I'm curious about, and what I'm surprised that the city, I don't believe, has released, although I've been campaigning for the last month, so maybe they have, but September 30th, there was a deferral of property taxes into September 30th. I know the city of Winnipeg had extended to November 30th, but the city of Winnipeg had released some data that it was around 14 or 15% of businesses and individual property tax owners weren't going to be able to pay their taxes. In the city of Regina, I'm not sure what that number is, but it's going to be a number. A percentage of people aren't going to be able to pay their property taxes. And that's going to be a real concern. In terms of coming out of COVID, we don't actually know what the economic impact of COVID is going to be. We've had some real bizarre wins in COVID in terms of the economy. Anybody trying to renovate a house or buy an appliance right now knows that there's a complete shortage of things relating to home renovations and even no homes. And RV sales are fantastic. And there's just other things that people have managed to spend money on because the people who have money, they weren't able to leave or go anywhere. They weren't able to. We just changed our spending this year. And so next year, coming out of COVID, we're going to take direction and work collaboratively with the province in order to determine where investment needs to happen, what projects the city can undertake in order to deal with some of our aging infrastructure, but actually put some people to work and help support our local economy. I think that's going to have to be something. And I think probably by the end of Q1, we should be looking at working with businesses and on subject matter experts on how to come out of it. I think by the end of March, if we don't have a plan in place, we're going to be at serious, we're going to be behind the 8 ball. So we're going to need to be proactive as opposed to reactive, which we seem to do quite a bit. I think that's all the time we have. I think I got 18 seconds left. If you didn't get your question tonight, please email it to sandraformayor.ca@gmail.com, and we'll try to get to it over the next several days. Thank you.